employees thriving or just surviving? Let's change that with Pretty Much People. I'm Andrew Butters from Pretty Much People, and we believe in organizational healing. Did you know that a staggering 87% of employees worldwide feel disengaged at work? That's where we come in. Whether you're a business owner or a manager, we're here to boost your team's morale and resolve workplace conflicts. From conducting employee engagement surveys to team building, we tailor our services to fit your needs. Facing disciplinary actions or labor disputes, our experts handle everything from CCMA to bargaining council negotiations, ensuring quick and compliant resolutions. Our B-Level 4 certification means working with us also boosts your procurement scorecard. Since 2000, we've proudly served over 185 clients across all industries in South Africa and Africa. Visit us at prettymuchpeople.co.za and let's bring organizational healing to your company. Pretty Much People, because happy employees make for a thriving business.
Good morning. Another wonderful morning here in South Africa. It's wet, it's been raining the whole night, and guess what? We didn't have electricity for last night and then in the middle of the night, but luckily we have electricity now. So a fantastic day, and we're going to have a fantastic meeting today. We're going to learn something about business acumen, how to do business smarter. So we've got a number of guests here and co-hosts. We've got Denise Jones, we've got Willem Lombard, Mana Ruiz, and Andrew Butters, who's going to tell us all about how people come before profits. And we're going to really look forward to listening to that and learn something so that we can actually do business smarter. So welcome to Vision 2025. Here we basically hold 4 events every single month on a Thursday. The first Thursday being a networking session. The second Thursday actually meeting a prominent business person who's been successful in creating business in South Africa. The third Thursday is about actually learning something new, a new innovation, innovative solutions, where we introduce new ideas, new concepts, new products into the industry. And then the last Thursday of the month, which is today, we actually go and find an expert in their field to come and teach us a little bit about doing business smarter. So welcome to the show, and welcome to our co-hosts. We're going to just go around the room. Glenn, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. I actually thought you were going to speak to Mana and ask her to do it first. You know, ladies first, eh? What can we say? Sorry, Mana, you lost out this morning. We'll have to speak to David, eh? All right, good morning, everyone. The name is Denise Jones. I'm a life and business coach, and I also do counseling and mentoring, but I often say I'm your personal locksmith. And the reason why is because so many of us have incredible, amazing potential, and I'll help you unlock that potential and help you step into destiny. So that's me. Looking forward to this talk. I know this man well, and a good friend of mine, he knows what he's talking about. Thanks very much, David.
Fantastic, Glenn. And thanks for organizing for Andrew to come and speak on the show today. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure the listeners are going to appreciate it as well. Let's go to Willem Lombard. Willem, please introduce yourself. Are you muted, Willem?
Sorry. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity again, David, to talk to all of you. My name is Willem Lombard. I'm a life quality coach and high performance strategist. I help business owners, especially in high demand industries like manufacturing, reignite their energy, build resilient teams, and prevent burnout before it costs them everything, you know. I use brain science, communication styles, and stress mastery tools. I show leaders how to turn exhausted teams into engaged, high-performing teams. So because when your people thrive, your business does too. So that's what I do.
Thank you, Willem. Great to have you here on the show. And last but not least, Mana Ruiz. Mana, please introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning. I'm Marna Ruiz, and I own a company called InScope Insurance Brokers, and we do short-term insurance, specifically your commercial insurance from your factory down to where you deliver your goods at your customer's place. And just for good measure, we'll do your personal insurance as well. I'm looking forward today to listen to Andrew, because employees can be your biggest nightmare, but in fact, I believe firmly that they should be your biggest asset. They are your biggest marketer, and happy employees is a happy business or healthy business.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mana. Thanks for being here today. Right, and let me now introduce myself quickly. My name's David Bauer. I'm your host for today. What I do is a bid architecture. I do proposals and tenders for companies who actually want to grow their business by actually acquiring new work. So if you are if you need a tender to be written or a proposal to put together, I'm your man. So come and talk to me about that. But anyway, enough about me. Let us go to Andrew Butters. Andrew Butters is an HR specialist. He has a company that is, it's actually, when I saw the name of the company, I thought, okay, Pretty Much People. And Andrew's going to be helping us today to understand more about how HR is so important in business. Now, all of us have employees, and all of us need to manage them in a way that we actually get the most out of them, but to keep them happy at the same time. And Andrew's going to be talking to us about that and how to actually do business smarter with regard to our employees themselves and what we need to do. So Andrew, welcome to the show. Really great to have you here. And I'm going to hand over to you. And yeah, please take it away and tell us a little bit more about how we should actually be running our business with regard to HR and actually making sure that they are happy employees. Thank you. Over to you, Andrew.
Well, thanks so much, David, and thanks to David and Glenn and Marna for the invite to present this morning. And I'm delighted to speak about a topic that in the face of AI reshaping our business world and the technology revolution and AI tools, a topic which is profoundly and paradoxically human, people. So AI is reshaping the world, and of course, our world is accelerating at a rapid rate. Remote teams are global, and there are tremendous economic pressures on organizations to secure quick wins and short-term profits. But the paradoxical and interesting thing is that the basis and source of competitive advantage, in the light of obviously all this AI and technology development and what have you, the basis and source of competitive advantage has pretty much stayed the same: people. And so some of you might recall that there was a guru some time ago who proposed that and espoused the principle that products can be copied at will pretty much, but people are unique and the source of competitive advantage. And so this morning, and I hope that I'm going to be able to show you that in 2025 and beyond, having a human resources offering and putting people before profits is really the source of business success. And I hope to focus on 5 things, and as a good consultant should, I'm going to give you a little bonus and an extra one as well this morning. So from a perspective of first point is, and we need to debunk a myth, is that human resources is administrative and not strategic. It's actually the other way. HR is strategic and not administrative. And the myth that we need to debunk is the fact that HR is about paperwork and policies and all of those sorts of things. Yes, we do those things, but the reality is that's not where the critical value is added within the human resources profession. It's really about being the strategic backbone for the organization. Consider the following for a moment. Human resource organizations with human resources functions are 2.5 times more likely to secure better employee retention rates than those that don't have human resources functions. Those organizations, and Willem spoke a little bit about the work that he does in employee engagement, and specifically organizations where there is high employee engagement are likely to outperform organizations that don't have employee engagement by 202%. I think these are very significant statistics that we need to take on board and consider. And at the rock face, the HR professional organization is responsible for these particular areas. And too many times in the past, HR practitioners are believed to be the folk who stand behind policies and are the doctor's nose and the naysayers, when in actual fact, they are the folk who translate the people strategy into business strategy, or develop a people strategy that really supports your business strategy. Whether it is taking a labor relations piece of legislation and an ostensible situation in which that legislation says you can't do this, you can't do that, and turning it around into a strategic, how do we do this right for the organization? So it doesn't matter whether it's labor relations, whether it is managing change, designing culture, or building leadership pipelines. HR is the strategic partner to your organization. The second thing I want to mention is that there is a human crisis in the modern world of work. Let's be honest, many organizations are in a people crisis. The crisis is that burnout is at an all-time high. I read some statistics some time ago saying that according to the South African Depression and Anxiety Group, anxiety and depression has increased by up to 30% post-lockdown and COVID. Employee disengagement is in fact causing organizations and costing them in excess of $8 trillion globally. How? Well, lost productivity, increased absenteeism, high need for disciplinary processes, labor disputes, all the sort of stuff that we deal with day to day. $8 trillion worldwide, globally. Then, of course, there's mental health and quiet quitting and all the other things that are presenting themselves as real problems to organizations today. It is the HR practitioner that really helps organizational leaders to be able to navigate these topics, themes, shifts within the organization so that they can capitalize on that effectively. Essentially, if you look at it, what employees are looking for in 2025 and beyond is more than just the salary and paycheck. It's about purpose, contribution, flexibility, belonging, inclusivity, and well-being. And it's these things that the HR practitioner needs to help organizational leaders to be able to deal with effectively within the organization. HR and the HR department at large is also the guardian of culture within your organization and ethics. Culture is not the stuff that you print on a wall chart or a set of values that you put in your reception area. It's fundamentally about what you as organizational leaders tolerate within your organizations. Culture without accountability is nothing other than simple branding. And from a perspective of culture, the HR practitioner plays a really important role within your organization. And essentially, your practitioner is looking at setting behavioral standards within the organization, holding leaders accountable and supporting them in terms of helping them to be more accountable, and also champion themes and so on like equity, inclusivity, diversity, and all of the other themes that are very pervasive within organizations and in the macro business environment today. And so these are all critical areas in which the HR practitioner will support and assist you within your organization and ensure that the decisions that are made organizationally are done bearing in mind the profit motive, but also bearing in mind ethics and principles that are so important for organizations today. The fourth area that, so just to recap, I've dealt with the HR is not administrative, it's strategic. I've dealt with the human crisis within the workplace today. I've dealt with the third element is the guardian of culture and of ethics. The fourth element is the rise of responsible profit. Sounds like a very philosophical and great idea, responsible profit. What do we mean by responsible profit? Responsible profit is essentially about looking and taking the old profit motive of returning returns and value to shareholders, and the modern day 2025 and beyond success scorecards for businesses are focusing on stakeholder impact. What is stakeholder impact? What is that about? Well, it's talking about essentially scorecards of employees. To what extent are your employees thriving? What about resilient and diverse teams and collaboration within your teams? These are all particularly important themes that present themselves as part of the responsible profit motive. And for the HR practitioner, what they are doing today is they are looking at measuring and deciding and determining the metrics of these things. So there should be a metric of employee thriving. We would typically call it employee engagement, or the extent to which employees are involved and locked into your organization. There's a measure of that, whether it is percentage, rating, whatever the case may be. The employee practitioners are the ones that are looking at what these metrics look like for your business. What about team? There are so many different elements and nuances to that, and the HR practitioner is the party within your organization that will support your business in making these strategic decisions about how we measure these things and what the impact is of the organization, again, so that you can drive the profit motive within your business, but that there's also a sense of purpose behind it. The fifth element is today I want to deal with is the technical human balance. We've talked about AI reshaping the world of work and the rate at which technology is growing, developing, and the availability of tools rather within the AI and the technology world. It's transforming our organizations and our world of work completely. So in the light of that, is it not that people are becoming less important? Well, to answer that, let's just talk about what does AI do within your particular business? What does technology do? Really what it does is it automates tasks. It does not deal with relationships. What do I mean by relationships? Well, let's take a practical example. AI and technology will support you in being able to review resumes and CVs. It will automate your onboarding or your induction process, if you will, within your organization. It will even trigger and prompt you as an organizational leader as to when a performance review becomes necessary. And that's not even talking about the impact of employee self-service and what have you within your organizations, and the way that we've moved from filling a leave form in on paper to now having a fully employee self-service driven process that will allow that process to flow seamlessly within your organization. And so that's what AI does for you, but it doesn't bring the empathy into a performance appraisal conversation. It doesn't consider the human nuances that are needed in a conflict resolution intervention or building of trust in the work that Glenn does as a leadership coach or Willem. It doesn't bring those elements into those kinds of engagements. There is, therefore, in the light and in the face of the pace at which technology is moving, there is the need for the HR practitioner to focus on data, but to bring the empathy, automation, but to bring the integrity into that process. I appreciate that from an HR perspective, every single HR practitioner is talking about data analytics. There is a responsibility on the HR practitioner and the modern day HR practitioner to be able to make sure that they are supporting the use of technology in the best possible way so that it can accelerate decision making and improve the quality of decision making, whether it's in the recruitment space, whether it is in talent, or any of the other areas in which data analytics is typically used today. I appreciate that this is the look of the modern day HR practitioner organizationally. Another area in which obviously the HR practitioner is going to play a role from a technology and a human balance perspective is being able to balance the incredible stress that has been faced by many organizational leaders today about the demands that are placed on them from a skills perspective in terms of keeping up with all those technology developments. And so the HR practitioner is the person that's going to then turn these requirements into a skills plan that's going to help the organization to ensure that all organizational leaders and employees are upskilled in response to the demand that the AI world and the way that it's reshaping the world work demands on employees today. The last element and the bonus element that I just want to talk about, and perhaps in talking about some of the issues around HR, human resources, and when I'm talking human resources and HR today, I'm talking about an internal department that is responsible for executing the HR offering in support of the business strategy of your particular organization. But I'm not blind to the fact that there is a trend and pattern towards outsourcing. Outsourcing within the human resources environment has been used over a long period of time. If we think in terms of things like payroll, even an area where we focus our business and our service portfolio to organizations quite strongly, the labor relations environment, those are areas that have been outsourced over an extensive period of time. And so outsourcing within the human resources domain offers both large and small organizations a great deal. For the large organization, it offers the HR practitioner the opportunity to concentrate on what is core to them, whether it is building a leadership pipeline, rolling out a talent management program, focusing on recruitment needs, or developing a new incentive scheme for a sales force from a remuneration point of view. It doesn't matter what it is. It helps, and outsourcing helps the organizational HR practitioner to be able to focus on what they do best by providing an expertise into an area where they just don't have the capacity to deal with that, either because they don't have the expertise or because they don't have the time. And so by outsourcing, the HR practitioner is in fact buying their time back. For small and medium-sized organizations, the reason they would outsource is slightly different. I would suggest to you that they would outsource because they simply don't have the internal financial resources to hire an internal HR practitioner, but they have the same needs as larger organizations have, which is essentially that they need to take care of the things that we've talked about today, but they don't have the resources to have somebody full-time to do that. And so they would outsource to a practitioner that would be able to, or a company that would be able to provide that service to them and that expertise at a cost that they can afford. And so outsourcing offers both large and small organizations a great deal. It's important that for you as an organizational leader that you consider and you take a very deliberate decision about which service provider you're going to use for your purposes to outsource your HR requirements to. It's important that you consider, in the first place, a service provider that will support your business objectives and strategy and that can actually understand it fundamentally. Secondly, it's somebody that, or an organization that would be able to go along with the culture of your organization and respect the kind of employee value proposition that you have within your organization. These are all critical elements of criteria and success criteria that you need to apply when selecting a service provider that you're going to choose as a vehicle to outsource your HR requirements to. And in closing, I just want to make the following points. For you as an organizational leader who might be listening in on the webinar today or the session today, having an HR offering is not an optional. It's absolutely critical. It's critical not only to manage risk, but to unlock potential. It's critical not only to reduce turnover, but to build belonging, not only to secure compliance, but to contribute to the competitive advantage within your organization. And so what I'm saying to you today is that choosing people over profits is not a sacrifice. It's the best darn investment that you're likely to make into your business and your organization. It's in 2025 and beyond, the organizations that care for their people will be the ones that people care for and commit to. Every single organization that places its emphasis on putting people above profits will ensure that there's customer loyalty, repeat business, and all of the things that are necessary for you to be able to be profitable. And so that's why I'm saying to you today that having a human resources offering in your organization, whether as a full-time practitioner or on an outsourced basis, will secure you the reward, which is profit. But in order to reap that reward, you must make the commitment to putting people ahead of profit so that you too will become an organization that will truly see that human resources and having such an offering within your organization is the real source of business success. So thank you so much for your time this morning. I hope that what has been provided has brought benefit and a level of encouragement to you and perhaps even some perspective. And I thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Well done. I mean, you know, you actually spoke about a lot of items there. And what I'm going to do is let's go around the room, and I'm going to ask each of the co-hosts to ask a question or to create a remark and what struck them regarding what you spoke about. I know one of the big things for me is AI, but I'll come to me later. So let's start with Mano. Mano, you've got a number of employees that work for you and who have worked for you. You've got an organization. can you give us your point of view of what Andrew said and what your takeaways are? Over to you, Mana.
Yes, by listening to Andrew just now, I was in the HR space myself for a number of years and long enough to know that that's not the space for me. And it changed so much. The whole dynamics of HR has changed over the years. Yeah, and what I did get from you is something that I firmly believe in is that your employees are your best asset. And if you don't take care of that, you might as well close your doors. So yeah, thank you for that. And then also, what I like that you say is that the leaders needs to be kept accountable. I think if you think history or where we got the HR I came from was everybody tried to keep the employees accountable, but I think it should be the other way around. So I like that concept.
Thank you, Mana. Thank you very much. Let's go to Wilhelm. Wilhelm, you are in the HR space as far as energy and making sure the teams work properly and so on. Can you give us your perspective and what your takeaway from what Andrew spoke about?
Oh, thank you, David. Yeah, Andrew, thank you for this. It resonates with me, everything that you said. Sometimes I ask CEOs or business owners about their people and how are their energy levels and all those things. And often some of them say things like, listen, if the people don't want to work, then they must go. I don't worry about lazy people. Now, the thing is, lazy people never burn out. They are too lazy to burn out. The only people that will burn out are really those people that are quite effective in your work, that are kingpins, and you don't want to let those people go. Now, there's usually three things that happen. People realize that, listen, I need to do something, otherwise I will burn out. So they do slower, they walk slower, they do slower, they protect themselves. Then there's some people, okay, the other ones, they decided, well, I must leave the business because I can't stay here any longer. They burn me out. And then there's the other fools that they they stay there and they work their butt off until the day they burn out. And when you burn out, it takes you 2 years to recover. You can't do anything within 2 years. You can't do anything. So it's very bad for yourself. You should never get to that stage. The thing is, if you don't protect your people, if they leave, it will take at least 2 years for a new guy to come back on par with where the other one was. So you should really protect your people and take care of them, because as Andrew said, that's actually the heart of your business, your people. You can't get over that. We are people. Everything about life is about people. Yes, we got the technology to help us, but it's not people. We need to put the heart back into our companies. And the thing is, lots of people, CEOs, business owners, they don't understand that. They need to realize how important it is. A guy like Jim Collins, he said, if you got the right people on the bus, you can really go anywhere you want to go. And that's the thing, to have that team, the right people, energize them. My thing is to create a positive, energetic work environment. If you got that positive, energetic work environment, doing the right things right, then the energy rises and one can really have a great company that will flourish forever. But that's very important. The energy must be there. And that's why the quality of life of each person is quite important. And that's what I really focus on. But thank you for that. It was incredible, Andrew. And I'm with you on this, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Wilhelm. Thank you very much. I was on mute. Absolutely. Let's hear from Glenn. Glenn, what is your takeaway from what Andrew spoke about?
Well, first of all, Andrew, thank you very much. That was really insightful. Mana was talking about the people and that type of thing in leadership, and I so agree with that. I mean, John Maxwell speaks about this all the time. Everything rises and falls on leadership, and that is so true. I've seen it so often when I'm coaching in business as well, and I'm speaking to business leaders, and they keep on exactly what Valerim spoke about. They keep on blaming their staff. But ultimately, it comes down to how are they actually managing their staff. And that's where human resources comes in as well. So important. That first concept that you brought across, I never thought about it that way beforehand, but what you said actually just resonated with me immediately. And I thought that's actually so true. HR is strategic, not administrative. And I think there's such a bad perception out in the marketplace about HR that it's just all about policies and procedures, and this is this issue and that's issue, and just, and the stick. So I think it's such an important aspect in business. So wonderful. Love the talk. Thank you very much. I've taken so much away from it. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you very much. From my point of view, one of the things that I've come to use extensively is AI. And AI basically helps you to actually do things faster. And I love what you said. It helps you to automate. It helps you to actually do things that perhaps took you a very long time before to do much quicker. Now, look, my question to you obviously is a lot of people out there are, concerned that perhaps AI is going to replace them. For example, AI can do a lot of accounting work nowadays. AI can do legal research. AI can do a lot of data research out there. And also, I mean, for myself, it has improved my ability to produce whatever I need to produce so much faster. For example, for me to create a video, to do a letter, to do a event description as I do for Vision 2025. Before it would have taken me a week to do that. Now it takes me less than half a day to actually create everything that I need to create. But that's because of AI. And for example, the video that I created for you, I mean, that took me about an hour to do, whereas before it would have taken me maybe a week to do. Now, obviously, that produces a lot more stress on the employees because now the demands of getting work done has actually increased because people understand that AI actually improves your performance. How do you actually see that working through in the workplace, Andrea?
So, David, that's such a pertinent and now question is that everybody, so dealing with the first component of your question is, will it change jobs? The obvious answer is yes, it's dramatically changing jobs. However, I think that the respects in which it's changing jobs is to a large extent in terms of the skill demand. And because the AI is supporting and it's expediting some of the lower end grunt work that ordinarily employees would have had to do themselves, it's forcing and changing the jobs in two respects. A, it's forcing employees to focus on the higher end value items of the work that they fulfill. So instead of, as an example, going through and you use the example of legal research. So let's presume that it's a legal environment. Instead of having somebody that is doing the research, the work changes and it calls for somebody who has a higher level of interpretive skill to say, with what I've got via AI through this research exercise that I'm doing, how do I interpret this and make meaning of it, whether I'm presenting it to a client as a consultant or presenting it to a legal team as a front-end research functionality. It's forcing us to operate and employees to operate at the higher end of the value chain. So that requires obviously that employees are upgrading skills and making sure that they're staying on top of what's happening from a technology point of view and from their own professional point of view. Again, using the example that you created, employees would have to spend more time on interpretive and assimilation skills than actually the research, the mere task of researching. So that's at the front to deal with the first part of the question. In regard to the second part, you talk about the level to which AI is changing demand. And this is creating and it's a huge contributor to the stress that is prevailing within workplaces today. Because number one, it forces us to be available at all times, all hours, whether you're on vacation or you're not on vacation. The business world continues and the demands continue, and the expectation is that you deliver on those demands, whether you're at the office, not at the office, or whatever your own personal circumstances might be. So that places tremendous burden on employees to make sure that they're accessible. And for that, and I'm sure the work that Glenn is doing in particular would be to teach some of the executives and employees within organizations the skill of setting boundaries, because we still have lives after all. We're still whole beings, and we need to ensure that we live a whole and complete life. So stress is a big contributor. Demand is a big contributor, and I think we are just at the beginning of how these manifestations of AI are beginning to take effect within organizations and amongst employees, whether leaders or employees at different levels. And so I hope I've dealt with the questions and the elements of your questions that you posed, David.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Because of time, we've got quite a few questions in the chat. I'm going to just choose one and just show it. And perhaps, Andrew, you could actually address this question. Victor asks, what is the real purpose of HR in organizations today? What is the primary emphasis executives demand of HR today? Is there a difference between large corporations and small to medium-sized businesses? And Andrew, do you want to address that?
So thanks for that question, Victor. I think my response to that is that if we talk about the real purpose of HR, the real purpose of HR, as I see it, is to ensure that they play a strategic role within the business, ensuring that the people strategy and all the things that go along with that are supportive of the business strategy within that organization. So for me, the real purpose of HR is to ensure that they are in a position to take up a strategic seat or a seat at the strategic table or the executive table. And for too long, it's been that HR practitioners are pen pushers. And for me, that's not the value, and it's never been the value of an HR practitioner. So for me, the real purpose is to partner with the organizational leaders through making sure that the people strategy perfectly complements the business strategy within the organization. And for me, I think that in terms of the other part of the question, is there a difference, in fact, between large and small organizations? For me, the answer lies somewhere between saying that the role should be the same, the purpose should be the same, but the way that it manifests within the organization would be and have a slightly different look and feel. So in big organizations, the scope of what you're dealing with is enormous. In smaller organizations, maybe the scope of what you're dealing with changes faster because smaller organizations are not bureaucratic. They're agile, they're responsive, The market changes very quickly. They feel the change very quickly. And so it's to make sure that the triggers within large and small businesses are considered properly by those HR practitioners. And so the role is the same, but the application of it might be slightly different based on what the specific triggers are of the large and the small organization.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We've got a bit of a time constraint right now, but I'd like to just thank everyone who's actually put comments in the chats on Facebook, on YouTube, as well as on LinkedIn. So thank you for that. I'm going to ask Andrew just to go into those various platforms and just to answer each one of those questions and just acknowledge those who have acknowledged Andrew's talk today. As a takeaway, I'd like just to ask, just go around the room again. We'll go the other way around again. We'll ask Glenn, Glenn, one word for your big takeaway from today, and then I'm going to ask each of you, and then I'll come back to Andrew just to do a wrap up for today.
I think my one word would simply be intentionality. You have to be intentional about HR in the company. Bottom line for me. Thanks.
Thanks, Glenn. Wilhelm?
Yeah, I think to get the heart back into your business.
Thank you. And Mana?
Well, I would say people equals sustainability.
Absolutely. Great. And now I'm going to ask Andrew if you wouldn't mind doing a wrap up for us, Andrew, and also how people can get hold of you, and the best way to chat to you if they'd like to get hold of you. Over to you.
Thanks, David. And so for me, I think that we've talked this morning about the rewards that come from putting people ahead of profits. I think it's to bear in mind that it does take a level of intentionality, as Glenn has mentioned, in terms of making sure that you're doing that. But I think that from this morning's session, my hope is that you would definitely have taken away the fact that there are at least minimally 5 good reasons why you should make sure that you have a human resources offering within your department, within your organization, whether it is as a dedicated department or whether it would be on an outsourced basis. And so for me, it's definitely not a sacrifice. It's not optional. It's essential and the best investment that you can make today within your organization. And so should you choose to get hold of me, I can be contacted on email address Andrew, ANDREW, at prettymuchpeople.co.za, and the pretty much people is all one word. Or alternatively, I'm contactable on telephone. Mobile number is 082 772 2173. And if you're calling from outside of South Africa, you obviously drop the 0 and it's +27 82 772 2173. Or otherwise, we have a landline +12 346 1963. Or if you're in South Africa, 012 346 1963. And we'd be very, very happy to help you in whatever your requirement might be.
I'm on mute again. Thank you, Andrew. Wow, it's been a pleasure having you here, and a lot of great hints there. And what we'll be doing is we'll be summarizing what Andrew spoke about in our newsletter, on our weekly newsletter. So please subscribe to Future Forward. Also, share this with other people who may wish to learn a little bit more about the importance of HR and HR practitioners. And obviously contact Andrew if you need HR services. And also just thank you to all the participants today, all those who have listened in, and for all your comments. There are a number. I'm going to ask Andrew to go through those and just reply and answer those questions on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as on YouTube. And next week, we're going to take a break. It's the 1st of May. So that Thursday, we're going to all have a break. And then we'll start again on the 8th of May with our networking session. It's an online networking session through Zoom. You're all invited. Come and talk to us. That session is more of not just networking, it's more like a boardroom connects type scenario where we actually talk about the issues that you have in your business, and we as a group see what we can do to help you to resolve those issues. So come and join us on that. The week thereafter, we'll be inviting a prominent business person to come and talk about their business and the success of that. Then the following week thereafter, we'll be having innovative solutions, a new product, new service that will be coming on, and then we'll repeat the business acumen in the last Thursday of May. So I'd like to just thank each one of you for being here. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Wilhelm. Thank you, Mona. And a special thanks to you, Andrew, for coming and sharing. And please use the collateral that we've created here to promote yourself and your business. So thank you all, and have a very, very special week. And I'm going to just end with the video if the participants wouldn't mind just staying on. Thank you so much. All right, let's do this.
Are your employees thriving or just surviving? Let's change that with Pretty Much People. I'm Andrew Butters from Pretty Much People, and we believe in organizational healing. Did you know that a staggering 87% of employees worldwide feel disengaged at work? That's where we come in. Whether you're a business owner or a manager, we're here to boost your team's morale and resolve workplace conflicts. From conducting employee engagement surveys to team building, we tailor our services to fit your needs. Facing disciplinary actions or labor disputes, our experts handle everything from CCMA to bargaining council negotiations, ensuring quick and compliant resolutions. Our B-Level 4 certification means working with us also boosts your procurement scorecard. Since 2000, we've proudly served over 185 clients across all industries in South Africa and Africa. Visit us at prettymuchpeople.co.za and let's bring organizational healing to your company. Pretty Much People, because happy employees make for a thriving business.
Thank you.